All right, let's dive right in. We're talking about a really powerful idea today. The idea that your mind is basically the control center for your entire future. Seriously, it's not about where you came from or if you get lucky. It's all about the programming running inside your head. And you know what the best part is? That programming isn't permanent. You actually hold the power to rewrite the code.
Okay, let's just let this sink in for a second, because this is the core of everything we're going to talk about. Your thoughts. They lead to your actions. Your actions become your habits. And your habits, they literally create your future. It all starts with that program running in your mind. So the real question is, what program are you running right now?
Think about it like this. A mind that's programmed for fear is always going to be scanning the world for threats, for obstacles, right? And that causes you to hesitate, to avoid taking any risks. But a mind programmed for growth, it looks at the exact same world and scans for opportunities, for leverage points, and that pushes you to take action. It's the same situation, but two totally different outcomes, all decided by your internal operating system.
So that brings us to our very first lesson. We've got to debug that system. I mean, if you really want to reprogram your mind for success, you have to start by finding and getting rid of the hidden beliefs that are holding you back. These are like invisible scripts that are dictating your decisions, and most of the time you don't even know they're there.
And here's the cool part. There's an exact process for doing it. It's this four-step cycle. First, you need awareness. You got to spot the belief. Second, you have to question it. Like, is this really true? Third, you have to consciously replace it with a new, more empowering belief. And finally, and this is crucial, you take action to prove to your brain that the new belief is the real one.
So what is a limiting belief, really? Well, it's just a thought that you've repeated so many times in your head that your brain just accepts it as a fact. You know the ones, I'm not smart enough for that, or I always seem to fail, or people like me just don't get those opportunities. These aren't objective truths, guys. They're just lines of code. And the most important thing to remember is, code can always be rewritten.
And here, you can see that replacement step in action. See, you can't just delete a belief. You've got to install a new one right over it. So instead of letting a thought like, I am not capable, run on a loop in your head, you consciously install a new one, like, I am learning and I am improving every day. Repetition is everything here. The more you run the new program, the weaker that old one gets.
This quote right here really just gets to the heart of this whole first lesson. It's almost never your actual ability that's holding you back. It's the belief you have about your ability. You change that one limiting belief, and you can unlock a whole new level of potential you didn't even know you had. All right, let's move on to lesson number 2 and see how this all builds on each other. So, once you start clearing out that old buggy code, you have to retrain your focus. The thing is, your mind will find whatever you train it to look for. And successful people, they just train their minds to look for opportunity, especially when things get tough.
Your brain is basically an answer machine, right? So the quality of your focus depends completely on the quality of the questions you ask it. If you ask, why is this so hard? Your brain is just going to generate a whole list of excuses and problems. But if you ask, okay, how can I solve this? Your brain immediately shifts into this creative, solution-finding mode.
So how do you actually train this focus? Well, think of it like a mental toolkit. Here are 4 practical tools you can start using right away. First, control your questions, just like we talked about. Second, reframe your challenges as training. It's not a problem, it's a workout for your mind. Third, limit negative input. And fourth, practice gratitude, especially when it's hard, because that shifts your focus from what's missing to what you already have.
This is such a powerful way to think about it. Courage isn't about not having fear. No way. It's about taking action despite the fear. And how do you do that? By deliberately shifting your focus away from the obstacle right in front of your face and onto the opportunity that's waiting just beyond it. On to lesson 3. Deleting bad code and refocusing your mind is an amazing start. But to make it all stick, you have to bake it into your daily life. Success is not some single event that happens to you. It's the cumulative result of small, consistent, daily habits that reinforce that winning mindset. And here are some of the most effective habits out there. Control that first hour of your day. Don't just hand it over to your phone and social media. Dedicate some time, even if it's just 20 minutes, to learning something new. Practice self-discipline by doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. Use positive self-talk. Set small, winnable goals for the day, and then reflect on your progress before you go to sleep.
I mean, I love this quote because it's just so true. We all know motivation comes and goes, right? But your daily systems, your habits, that's what carries you through when the motivation fades. Your habits basically become your safety net for success.
And here is the absolute key. Don't try to change everything all at once. That's a recipe for failure. Just pick one small habit, protect it, make it non-negotiable, and repeat it every single day. These small, consistent actions are what truly reprogram your brain over time. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay, for our final lesson, we need to talk about defense. Because you can do all this amazing internal work, but if your external environment is constantly feeding you negative programming, you're just fighting an uphill battle. Your environment, the people you talk to, the stuff you watch and listen to, it is constantly writing code in your mind, whether you're paying attention or not.
This slide just lays it out so clearly. I mean, look at the difference. In a negative environment, the conversations are all about complaints and problems. The media is full of distraction and fear, and your peer group reinforces your excuses. But in a growth environment, conversations are about ideas and possibilities. Media is for education, and your peers push you to be better. So, which one are you living in right now?
This is exactly why protecting your mind is so important. You have to be ruthless almost about who and what you give your attention to. I mean, cutting back on exposure to doubt and gossip and negativity, that isn't rude. It's a necessary act of mental hygiene.
So, after going through these 4 lessons, what's the big takeaway? It's that you are not just a passive observer in your own life. You are the programmer. You have the power to take control of the code.
It all starts right here, by reprogramming your thoughts, actively deleting those limiting beliefs we talked about, and installing a new, empowering internal monologue. And next, you make those new thoughts real by reprogramming your habits. You build the daily systems that train your focus and make success your default setting, not something you have to hope for.
And when you reprogram your thoughts and your habits, you can't help but reprogram your future. The life you want isn't built by chance. It's coded by choice. Your choice.
Let me leave you with this final thought. Your mind is being programmed every single day. That's a fact. It's happening whether you realize it or not. So the only question left is, who's doing the programming? Will you let it be programmed by your past, by your environment, by other people, or will you be the one to finally step up and write the code?